Keep an eye out for older items. Conditions may be a little worse, but just know that if the item is older, the condition matters and also doesn't matter. So basically that means like if you have something old and it's in mint condition, it's going to be very desirable. And if you also have something old that's a little banged up, people still desire them and will paint them, fix them up, do whatever they want. So it's always good to keep your eye out for vintage stuff. And the vintage stuff will look different than the new stuff. You can just see new, vintage, like colorful, very plain, sturdy. This is like I can squeeze this in my hand and break the whole thing.
Yeah, and with everyone has a smartphone for the most part now. Look these things up, identify it. A lot of times the year will be marked on it, the brand. Sometimes you'll see numbers.
Most of the time you're gonna be able to find a brand, and then how you should look any vintage stuff up is brand name first, item second. So I would type in Nylon snorkel. This says Nylon snorkel. And for this guy, he's got a mark symbol back here somewhere on his butt or something, and Mark's Indian.
Yeah.
You know, Briar horse. So that's how you identify them, and most of them will have a name. This is a Power Rangers Morpher from 1998. If you're familiar with this, you wear it. It has a strap. I almost broke it. It has a strap, and it's battery operated. You turn it on. It has lights and some sounds.
And you just sold this.
And I just sold this about 2 hours ago for 70 bucks. So I paid $2, sold it for 70. Oh yeah, and I paid $1.99 for this in a bag at Savers. So this was a great find. It was a fast seller. I sold this within 7 days of buying it. And the profit margin is huge. So be on the lookout for Power Rangers, guys, the vintage 1990s. Not too much of the action figures unless they're brand new in the box, but what you really want to look out for is the Megazords, the larger action figures, and any electronic morpher or weapon. So be on the lookout for things like this, and any weapons and Megazords, and that's it. This Mark's Geronimo guy here, he's a, so Mark's is a toy company that made a lot of these. They started off with tin toys and then they moved into more like action figures. And this is one of their Johnny West line. This is Geronimo Indian. And this guy's missing his hand.
That's a sturdy toy.
Yeah, I mean, they're made very well. They have actual metal parts in them. See the metal screws and stuff. And this guy, if his hand was there, typically goes for like 20, 25 bucks. The thing you want to look out for him is the accessories he comes with. And it's Mark's Johnny West Geronimo action figure and the accessories. And if you want to put screenshots, because that's the thing that people should look out for. I originally bought this guy, and the only reason I bought him because he was at the auction with a box of all his accessories in it. And I ended up selling off the accessories for like $45.
Wow.
And I just have this guy's extra. I might just sell him broken for 10 bucks, get $1, or I might just junk him, not sure yet. But if you can find any Mark's, Cowboys, Johnny West, Gabriel Lone Ranger is another one, another company. Like any of those older Western toys are hot right now, super hot.
This is a board game that's called Dark Tower. This is made by Milton Bradley. I believe this is 1981. 1981. You know, this is a kind of a cool game. It's got a bunch of different pieces on it. It's got this castle, and then there's like it's like a cardboard fold
circle,
out.
Yeah, it's in a circle
that goes around it, and there are batteries that go in it, so it lights up. But this is a bolo. I found it once before. Vinny found it for $65, and we just want to kind of share this with you so you're on the lookout for this item if you ever come across it. I think I released a video a couple years ago sharing this, probably like 4 years ago, and I've had a bunch of people reach out to me saying they found it before. So let's talk about what happened when you first saw this. How did you identify it? What were your thoughts? And then we're also going to share a really cool story as well about another auction item that you found that related to this and you didn't realize it until you bought this.
I walked in the auction and I saw this kind of right away. And I remember from...
How do you know?
Back in the day...
I showed you this?
You showed me. You actually showed me like a sold listing of you selling it, I think. Sent me a screenshot. And I remember the name, and I remembered you talk about it. I'm like, oh, is that game that Steve's talking about? It is. And like, I opened it up, and I was like, it's not in great condition. But I even looked for it's selling for parts, and I saw like broken, not working. Like there's a tower that is battery operated and it's supposed to work, but I saw even ones not working were going for like 140. So I'm like, wow, okay, I'll
give or take.
I'll pay up to 70 for that, double my money.
Yeah.
And I just waited for it to come up there.
I thought that we were going to have a ton of bids on this item, and you were battling it out with one person, right?
Was one guy, because
he's always battling you on these toys.
What they did in the auction is they start off high and then they come. It's a little backwards, but they come down and see who grabs it at the price. And they started at 200, then they dropped it to 100, then they dropped it to 50, and that's when I raised my hand. I was like, "Yep." And then another guy jumped in at 55, 60, and then I went 65.
He dropped out,
and he was out. So I ended up getting this for 65 real quick. There's nobody else bidding on it. A lot of older guys were there, so I don't think maybe they knew about it.
Yeah.
Or the condition might have scared some people.
Yeah.
The issue with this set is the pieces are in pretty good condition.
Are they all there, all the pieces?
No. I'm missing some pieces. So I might have to part it out. But this tower thing right here is battery operated.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about this. It has some function. I guess it talks or lights up. Stuff like that. And the battery bay is corroded and is missing the cover for the battery bay. So that's the only
You still think this is a good buy at 65?
Yeah, I think because I have the original box, even though it's messed up, and because I have the actual board, a lot of the pieces, the boards are in good condition, and the tower piece, I'm pretty sure people know how to restore these. Like, there's a huge following for this thing. So, and the manual's in there, which is
that
super
always
important.
helps with these vintage games.
The manual by itself, I think I saw for $20.
You can even sell the box by itself. Like, you can literally part this whole thing out.
Yeah, you can part this whole thing out and get 200 easily. And there's some pieces in here.
I don't know if you get 200 parting it out, maybe. You think so?
150. Sorry, Steve.
You're getting a little excited because I know what's going to happen. People are going to call us out so hard, like, you ain't going to part it out for that much. But it's a good learning experience, and the point of this isn't to be like, oh, look at us, we had the best buy in the whole world. Like, it'll be a decent flip. But if you ever come across Dark Tower, pick it up.
See, this is something that would be popular around Christmas time. And you see these things, they look like little cars with no hoods or anything. These are actually motorized little chassis.
They look so, like, cheap, but they're selling really well.
Yeah, and these are motorized chassis, and they go to a Tommy Big Loader set that came out in the late 70s, 1977. And they're motorized. You put a battery in it, and it runs. And what the set does is you put construction shells on top, and it runs around the track. So these are currently on eBay going for about $25 a piece. And they're not that you're gonna get under a pound easily. So these are good to watch out for. And towards the end of the year, Q4, you might be able to 30, 35.
43 years old.
It's insane, right? And obviously you gotta make sure they work. You gotta put a battery in them, you gotta switch them on. Hopefully they work. Most of the time they've worked for me. I've never had an issue. But that's something to stay with the tracks and train and motorized theme for Christmas, because that's a nostalgic toy that everybody remembers, is these motorized things that go around tracks. So anything in that area is good to look out for now. Talking about this, it's along the...
Are those little people?
No, these are Playmobil. These guys are what they call Playmobil, and they're like a less piece Lego, larger Lego kind of thing from Germany, and they're made by GeoBra. And the reason I like these is they sell very well in lots. Some do sell individually, but if you find a bag like this, like I think this bag I paid $3.99 for.
Wait, that's a Savers bag?
Yeah.
They put them in the big poly bags? I thought it was only the small bags.
Oh yeah, they put them in the bag, and they have like animals, safari little animals and stuff like that. And
you might have to lift it up. I don't know if there might be a cutoff over here.
You can't really see much. You want to pour it on your head or something?
Yeah.
So these I always pick up, and usually they do bunch them together like this. Sometimes they come in big tubs, and this lot will probably sell for 30, 40, maybe 50 bucks.
What'd you pay for it? $5.99 you said?
$4.99. No, $3.99. $3.99 this bag was. And that's just one toy, Playmobil, if you find them in lots. Some individual special ones sell. Just a name to look out for, Playmobil, be on the lookout for that, Bolo.
Bolo!
And that's that one. 1988 Toot Toot train right here. And then you got the tracks that go with this guy. And this is some of this guy right here. Train. This was for this vintage play school train. 1988 Toot Toot train right here. And then you got the tracks that go with this guy. And this is some of the train cars that go with it. Another model of this train I've actually sold with the tracks for like 50, 60 bucks plus shipping. And if it works and everything goes good and it's got most of the tracks there, most of the parts there, I'm looking at a good 50, 60 bucks.